Hi, wonderful Bulldogs. This is the second part of the Haitian Revolution video. Remember, you only have to answer one Google form on this. I just broke it up into two videos just to make it a little bit more manageable. So where we left off was after slavery was abolished in 1794. And I said I would talk a little bit about Toussaint Louverture. So his name was actually Francois Dominique Toussaint Louverture. And he was a former slave that joined the rebellion in 1791, hoping to bring slavery to an end on the island. His military career began when he was leading the Haitian Revolution. He led several negotiations between the rebels and Spain for military supplies. By 1792, he was in charge of a small military unit, and his ability and his personality and his skills helped him rise in command. And by 1794, he was in command of the largest division of the rebel army, which had over 5,000 troops. So under his leadership, soldiers were deployed to restore peace and stability. He was able to restore French order of the colony, but he was all actually in charge of autonomous government of that colony. So he had like, I guess, a political job, not just a military job. Between emancipation and his actions, it really drove a wedge between the white colonists and France. As a response, the white colonists invited British forces to invade. However, they were repelled by the free people of color. Remember, we call them the gens de couleur libre, that's French, and also by slaves, who were both led by Louverture, right? So he was not letting the British come. And this happened in September of 1798. In 1799, there was a small civil war, and this was known as the Guerre de Château, or the War of the Knives, in 1799. So it was Louverture and André Regard, who was another revolutionary leader who refused Louverture's rule. This conflict was actually a big skirmish between dark-skinned and light-skinned blacks for control of the colony. Louverture was dark-skinned, Rigaud was light-skinned, and each of them supported their own group. Louverture finally defeated Rigaud in June of 1799. And now he was the undisputed leader of Saint-Domingue and determined to end slavery throughout the whole island. You know, both their part and the Spanish part. What happens, though, is we have a response by Napoleon. So he seized power in France, and after bringing peace to France, he signed the Treaty of Amiens in March of 1802. This ended hostilities between France and Great Britain. It was a very short-lived peace, but it did exist. And he helped Napoleon wanted to reestablish the control over his colonies. So he sent Charles Leclerc, who was his brother-in-law, with 20,000 men to Hispaniola. So Louverture and his generals did manage to resist Leclerc's army, but some of Louverture's generals joined Leclerc, and that was a major setback. In May of 1802, Louverture surrendered his men after negotiating amnesty. But this peace was also short-lived. By May 20th of 1802, Bonaparte reestablished slavery in France's colonies of Martinique, Tobago, and St. Lucie. He said it would not happen there in Haiti, but the slaves that were just newly freed there still didn't want to hear that they were instituting slavery somewhere else, so they revolted. So this insurrection gained momentum because Leclerc and many of his people died of yellow fever. So then Napoleon appointed a man, Rochambeau, who was actually a veteran of the American Revolution, as head of the army there, of the French army there. This was under the control of Rochambeau, and they faced each other in a battle known as the Battle of Versailles in 1803. It became the last battle of the Haitian Revolution. So now Napoleon had dealt with bankruptcy, a new war that was emerging without Britain. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about Haiti right now. Just like why he sold the Louisiana Purchase to America. Like, I have enough to worry about in Europe. So what were some of the consequences here? It had a really high price of all this. Over 250,000 rebels and thousands of Europeans died in these battles. In January of 1804, it was proclaimed finally an independent Republic of Haiti. After about 300 years, slavery was finally abolished, but still the previous admin was sort of maintained with that social structure, and social inequality remained in the new republic. The freed people of color replaced slave owners now at the top of the social hierarchy. Regardless, Haitian society became to undergo a big transformation in self-identity, and its equality, those ideas of equality would play a big role in the consequences. So here's a little bit about the legacy of this revolution. That it was the first post-colonial state in Latin America. It challenged old colonial, I'm stuttering a lot today, I apologize. It challenged the old colonial European order. It was an example of a successful revolution against a European empire, and it led to a decline of the Atlantic slave trade. Still existed, but led to a decline. It also inspired many other liberation movements as others got independence, especially in Latin America in the early 1800s, 18 teens to like 1821. Okay, this is 2 videos, but it's still just a brief overview of this Haitian Revolution. If you want more to read while you're at home or more things to learn about it, feel free to do so. I was going to record a little bit extra for honors students on some of the people that I mentioned more in depth. Of course, it'll be open to anyone if you want to watch that. There won't be a homework or an assignment attached to it, but it's just for further enrichment. All right, I hope you guys are having a good time as much as possible. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hope to see you soon.